Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming County Executive Also Brooks.
Good evening, everybody. It's so great to see all of you all. I want to begin. Can we please give a rousing round of applause for Lelia, and Luis this afternoon? I have to tell you that Lelia is the first person I have ever met, and I should have gotten it right on the first time, who has my grandmother's name. It's spelled the same, and she is just so outstanding. So we're very proud of you, Lelia. And Luis, muchas gracias to Luis. Thank you so much. And also to Principal Reginald McNeil, we want to thank you so much, sir. We are proud of your leadership, and we are so proud of everything that is occurring here at Roosevelt. Very proud of this school, and just thank you so much for opening it up for us tonight and having us here. We are also so very, very proud of the Eleanor Roosevelt Band, can we give them some love tonight, too? And I want to say thank you to their director, Ms. Rachel Zephyr. Can we thank her for her leadership? And, you know, you heard a moment ago, she stood up and she held up the pamphlets and she said, we sure would love your support. So we have some good news tonight. And it is that we have brought to you to help with your efforts. I hope that you all know that the Eleanor Roosevelt Band is only the third band from Maryland to have ever been invited to perform at the Elite Music Conference in Chicago. So we are certainly very proud of their accomplishments. And tonight we have brought with us, just as requested, a $2,500 check to assist, and it is... Of course, don't take this one to the bank. All right, but we do have $2,500 at Principal McNeil. Yes. All right, sir. And she's right here. Can we have some of the students come up too, please? Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Now we have, before we begin, before we finish the program. Okay. So, you know, first of all, again, I want to say thank you all for coming out tonight. We know that this is a challenging evening as we are on the eve of what we anticipate will be a World Series championship tonight with the Washington Nationals. And so we know that many folks are home tonight preparing to cheer on our Nationals. We know also that it is raining outside, but I tell you what I love so much about Prince George's is they are so faithful and so engaged. And so we thank all of you all for being here tonight. I most especially want to begin by telling you, I have the most amazing colleagues ever who work with me, who are here tonight, all of the agency directors and the leadership in our county. And I just it's too many for me to go around and name. We also have elected officials who are here with us tonight. My colleagues on the council, the state's attorney, our leadership here in Greenbelt, the electeds here, and just our state delegation. I just want to say thank you so much to all of you for coming out. When we say Prince George is proud, it is no exaggeration. We are just so very proud of the work that we have been able to accomplish here together. And truly together really is the optimal word. There is no way that we could accomplish everything that is necessary for this community except that we do it together. And so I want to thank all of you for coming out. I most especially want to thank our team for the work that they have done. The past 11 months, to say they have been a whirlwind really is an understatement. This has been a really rigorous 11-month period that we have been in. It followed a period where we had the opportunity to travel from one side of this county to the next. And during that time, we were able to hear firsthand from the residents of this county what they cared about, what their priorities were. And I have to tell you that I committed to ensure that we would make them proud, that we would fulfill the potential of this county. And we have worked like nobody's business to make sure that it happened. But again, with all of the men and women who are seated on the stage tonight, I want to say thank you to each of them for their commitment and their expertise, and to say thank each of you for coming out tonight. Now, I have quite quite a bit to share with you tonight about what we have been able to accomplish and to talk with you about some of the priorities that we have set for our community. We began a very successful legislative session this past January. Our work started there, and we were really proud to bring home a record $1.5 billion in state funding. And thank you. And I should tell you that as a result of the hard work of our legislative team, that this is the most money that our county has ever brought home in a single legislative session. And so we really applaud them. We applaud again the legislative team who worked especially hard in Annapolis, all the electeds in our team are really proud of what they were able to accomplish. And we've already started putting those dollars to good use in public safety, infrastructure improvements, economic development, education, and so much more. Now, the last legislative session, we were able to, secure a commitment of $14 million in Kerwin funding. And what I can tell you that we were able to use that funding for is pre-K education, which is a real priority of our administration. And so we were able to support and bolster existing programs for approximately 4,900 pre-K students. It also helped us, thank you, also helped us to fast track 17 more universal pre-K centers throughout our county and to begin the conversion of our half-day programs to full-day programs, and this really is just the start for us. We've also, in collaboration with our, and I call her dynamic, but I have to also say she is a super bad woman, Dr. Monica Golson, who is just an amazing school CEO, who we were able to work collaboratively with to identify $44 million in funding to enhance teacher salaries. And these teacher salaries are long overdue. And so we're really proud that we were able to do this. And this is allowing us to increase teacher salaries by percentages over the next 3 years. We've also, since the beginning of our administration, really made a solid commitment to young people. And part of that commitment was demonstrated during our Summer Youth Enrichment Program. Now, as we came into office, we were traditionally hiring about 3,000 young people in the summer. But I have to tell you that we decided that that would not be good enough. And I want to thank Sean Stokes and the Office of Human Resource Management and FOIA Prince George's and so many other businesses who came together with us to ensure that we were able to more than double the number of kids that we hired this past summer. We went from 3,000 to close to 7,000 young people who we hired in our Summer Youth Enrichment Program. We also began to crack down, you've heard us talk about Prince George is Proud, and to do that we realized that we had to crack down on illegal dumping. We also had to put mobile hidden cameras in problem areas around the county. We wanted to make sure that this county reflects the pride that we feel in it. And we were very serious, and we are very serious about cracking down on illegal dumping. Too many people regard Prince George's County as a point of least resistance, have come here to dump unsightly items throughout our county. And so we have done, again, the two things. Really increase the fines and the penalties for illegal dumping. But I want you also to let people know that the county executive has her eyes on them because we have these cameras, hidden cameras fixed around the county, all right? And let them know that for any of them who understand where the cameras are, don't worry, we'll move them as we need to. We're going to continue to capture people on those cameras, and we are very serious about making sure that we stop the illegal dumping that is occurring in our county. We've also invested $500,000 in our Office of Human Resource Management to improve recruiting, hiring, and promotion so that we make sure that we have the most skilled people working for you in this government. Now, to do that, it meant that we had to really make solid investments in technology. $500,000. We also made close to $5 million worth of investments in technology to ensure that we're able to do things like invest in, we have $200,000 that we invested in software in the Office of Central Services. I keep telling on Jonathan Butler, who's up here on this stage, who said, oh, I'm sorry, he's right out here in the audience, our director, who said, you know, Angela, it's so wonderful to work here, but I have to tell you that in some regards, it's like coming back to 1985, reminding me that we really did have some work to do in the area of technology. We accepted the challenge. Wanda Gibson, who's also the Director of Information Technology, she's shaking her head because she agreed that we really did need to make those investments, and we are starting to make them. As a result of that initial down payment that we made of $200,000 in the Office of Central Services, which oversees procurement for the counties, which is how we buy goods and services in the county, we have started as of this month a new certification and compliance system that allows anyone, including and most especially our small and minority businesses, to do business in the county by completing their certification and recertifications online. We wanted to make it easier for people to do business with our county. So this is the first step toward e-procurement, which is more costly, and we're going to put an additional investment in this year's budget to make sure that we can afford that. We're also working hard to ensure that we continue to deliver to you the amenities and the goods that you deserve as citizens, the options, the dining options that we know that you want. We're also making sure that as the economic boom continues in Prince George's County, that we're ready for it. And so we are really pleased that we broke ground on the Purple Line. We know as well, I don't know how many of you are excited about this, but I certainly am. How many of you have driven by the Hampton Park Mall and realized that we have recently broken ground on that area around Hampton Park Mall after many, many years? This will be the future location of the Ivy City Smokehouse Restaurant, an award-winning restaurant. And we've also invested money. We have 241 shopping centers around the county. What we were able to do through the Economic Development Corporation is to conduct a study of those shopping centers. We realized that there were, I believe, 47 of them that were in need of investment, that were failing, and that 21 of them are in the inner Beltway area of the county. So what we were able to do is to begin to attract investment for those shopping centers. We hope that this will be a way for us to not only increase and encourage community-based businesses, but we believe that this is also a way for us to begin to address some of the food desert issues that we have in our county. We are also really pleased to say, I've told you that tonight is an example of it, that we would not wait for you to come to us. We believe that it is the obligation of government to come to you. So I am really proud that through our Office of Community Relations, we have attended well over 500 community meetings since last December. This is a very hard-working team, and they have been out and about. So we are off to a really fast start, but we realized that in order for us to really maximize our efforts, we needed to really slow down to make sure that we got focused. And one of the things that I will say to you is that excellence matters to this administration. And it is not just that we talk about being excellent, but we wanted to make sure that we had measurable ways to measure our progress over the years. And so we got all of our agency directors and staff to come together. We have spent months together talking about programs and initiatives, what our priorities would be, and how we could lay them out for this community in a very clear way so that you would know, even at this point, what the priorities of this administration are and how you can hold us accountable for the things that we promised you. And so that's what tonight is about, is to share with you some of the priorities of our administration. Those priorities are education, youth development, economic development, safe neighborhoods, healthy communities, and quality of life. Now, under each of these priorities, there are a number of initiatives. Now, those initiatives will begin, they'll be here on the screen behind me, and I believe that you also should have in your hand a handout which will also list some of those initiatives for you. Beginning with education. You heard me discuss a moment ago pre-K education, and so that is one of the areas that we are focused on, Proud Pre-K, because we believe, and it is not just a belief, we all understand that we must get to our children earlier to ensure that our kids are prepared for kindergarten. So over the next 5 years, it is a priority of our administration to increase the number of pre-K seats to accommodate 10,000 students. And we are also eliminating the income requirements for enrollment. Our plan is also to convert all of our half-day pre-K classes to full-day. And we're partnering with nonprofits to increase the capacity for child care centers, equipping them to provide pre-K education as well. We're also working to make sure that we increase our county's kindergarten readiness assessment scores because we are learning from our school system that a really high percentage of our students who we test in kindergarten test not ready to learn when they come to us. And we believe that this pre-K education that we're providing will allow us to increase those test scores. Dr. Bolson tells us that in the neighborhood of 65% of the kids who we tested when they came to kindergarten tested not ready to learn. I think you can agree with me that this is completely unacceptable. I think we have an opportunity to do better, and we believe that this pre-K education will allow us to do that. We are also proud that Dr. Golson and I are working together to ensure that everybody has a stake in our school system. You heard me say on the day that I announced Dr. Golson as our new CEO, something that I believe to be completely true, and that is that she cannot do this work by herself. That we would come back to her in a few years and hold her accountable. Well, we could only do that if we had done our part. And so we have announced, we're really happy to announce a goal that we share together, and that is a goal to recruit 5,000 proud partners for Prince George's County Public Schools. We need you. We're really glad that you're here tonight, and we are asking, as my favorite, as Senator Joanne Benson would say, Lottie Dottie, and everybody, we're going to need everybody's engagement to ensure that our school children are successful. So 5,000 proud partners for Prince George's County Public Schools. But through this effort, we're working to increase participation in PTAs, tutoring, mentoring programs, our athletic programs, and the Adopt a School and Partners in Education programs. And so we want each of you to really consider becoming engaged in that way and sharing this information with others that you know. We have so many assets in this county. Many of them include our veterans and our seniors who have so much wisdom to share, and our local businesses and grassroots organizations and leaders also have so much to give. And so we'll be relying on all of the assets we have, including that kind of expertise, to work with our school system to develop a standard menu of volunteer opportunities. We will also have a platform to track volunteerism overall. I am so serious about bringing us all together as a community to make sure that our kids have the absolute best opportunity possible to succeed not only here, but throughout our state and nation and abroad. Youth development is also a priority for us. It is so critical to our children that we equip them to succeed in and outside of the classroom. And in order to do that, we have put together a whole menu of priorities and initiatives to ensure that our kids are developed as whole people. In other words, we understand that youth development does not just happen in the classroom, that it is the affirmative obligation of our government to ensure that our kids are well-rounded and that we have holistic approaches to teaching them and developing them as people. How will we do that? Youth sports is one of the areas that we have targeted. We started this past year with youth sports legislation that we put forward in Annapolis to ensure that within the Department of Maryland, within Maryland National Capital Park and Planning, I want to thank Betty Hewlett, who is here tonight, who is chair of Maryland National Capital Park and Planning. And Betty and her team, thank you, she does deserve a round of applause, have very aggressively embraced the idea that youth sports should be an integral part of what happens through Maryland National Capital Park and Planning. What this will mean for us is that their agency will coordinate youth sports throughout the county. And since this legislation passed, Parks and Recreation has already established a youth and countywide sports division and is currently recruiting and selecting its leadership team. Now, once that team is set, they will assess the department's existing programs and services and develop a multi-year plan to develop a one-stop shop for youth sports and facility permitting throughout Prince George's County. We believe that this will equalize the opportunity for all of our children to participate in sports. And again, I want to thank Maryland National Capital Park and Planning for heading that for us. The Youth and Countywide Sports Division will be operational by the end of this year, and through strategic planning, we will create a more efficient and user-friendly process to gain access for all of our kids to youth sports programs and facilities. Also, under youth development, we are working to build what Dr. Askew called our child-friendly county. So I want to thank Dr. Askew for this initiative. This comes out of UNICEF. It is modeled across the country, but we are also creating it here in Prince George's County. What this means is that we will be a county where our kids have access to quality social services. We will focus on the safety in our communities. We'll make sure that they are protected from discrimination, violence, abuse, and that they have a seat at the table here in Prince George's County. Now, what will that mean? That means that I will create a children's cabinet within the government, because I have long since learned that the only way that you can't represent people you don't know or understand. And in order to do that, we're going to have to bring our kids to the table so that I can hear firsthand what it is they think and they feel. And so the Children's Cabinet will be an opportunity for our young people to really weigh in on the solutions and provide feedback to me on how they believe that we can improve their quality of life in this county. And so I'm looking forward to hearing from them. I'm also excited about rolling out school-based health centers. I have to tell you, this particular initiative is so very important. We cannot assume that our children who we place in these classrooms can learn without the support that they need for mental health care. We have to support their families in getting the dental care they need and the vision care that they need, and the school-based health centers will help us to provide that for our students. And so we will roll those centers out. We will begin, we are building right now, and we'll add 12 by the end of we're adding one by the end of this year. We're looking forward to over the next 3 years adding 12, and over the next 8 years, it is the vision that we will have 18, which will be the most in the state. That Prince George's County will have the most school-based health centers in the state in our school system. Again, this goal is to assist our families. We believe that we are allies in the education of our children. But again, it is so difficult to teach a child who has not slept well. It is hard to teach a child who has not been nourished well, and a child who is traumatized, who has sat home to witness violence. And so we have to make sure that our kids are prepared to learn, and we believe that these health-based centers will allow us to do that. Moving on to economic development, many of you are aware that 70% of the tax revenues generated in Prince George's County come from residential property taxes. What does this mean? This means that on the backs of citizens, essentially, we pay for the goods and services that are necessary in this county, because only 30% of all of our revenues come from commercial and business taxes. This is an important number for you to understand. 70% of all of the taxes are residential property taxes in Prince George's County. That means that there is an urgency that we have about increasing commercial activity in our county. Now, just as a point of comparison, you should understand that the annual budget of Prince George's County is $4.4 billion. And again, this is largely funded from residential property taxes. Just by way of comparison, Fairfax County, which is our neighbor, has a budget of nearly $8.6 billion. And Washington, D.C., our next neighbor, has a budget of $15.5 billion. Now, when people ask us very often, why is it that we are not able to do more for those in our reentry communities? We'd love to do more for seniors. We'd like to do more for our children. You should understand, for example, that Washington, D.C. spends $4 billion a year in social services alone. You should know that that is the entire budget of Prince George's County. So what that means is that we have just done a yeoman's job of being so fiscally responsible that we have been able to make use of the $4.4 billion that we have to make sure that we serve our citizens. And again, I want to thank this county council that works especially hard to make sure that we are responsible over those dollars. Stan Early, who I think Stan Early is here as well, who does a really excellent job of that as well. But it also means that we must be really passionate and focused on increasing business in our county. And so that's what we're doing. But we must do so, and this is a really important point. We must make sure that we're hyper-focused on really increasing the commercial tax base in our county, but we must do it the right way. We must do it the right way. What does that mean for us? Right now, the right way means branding and investing in the downtowns of Prince George's County. This really is the competitive advantage that we have. It is at Prince George's County, so you know, and I want you to take this down because we have many, many talking points to brag on. You should know that we are transportation rich. We are centrally located as a county. We are comprised of neighborhoods, towns, and communities with distinctive identities and attributes, and that there are dozens of hometowns in the county that offer opportunities for our residents to work, shop, play, create, and learn close to home. So the investments that we will make in our downtowns will attract an array of denser housing types. We're looking for higher quality retail restaurants and creative sector professional jobs that range in type from science and tech occupations to the arts. So we're really looking forward to growing the bustling downtowns of College Park, Largo, New Carrollton, Branch Avenue, Oxon Hill, Suitland, the Gateway Arts District of Hyattsville, North Brentwood, Mount Rainier, in addition to building on the economic impact that we know the Purple Line will bring to our international corridor. We're investing in the international corridor of Langley Park, Chilham, and Adelphi. And so we have so many rich opportunities, and we're not going to sell ourselves short. Investing in these areas and places will grow interest in our commercial tax base and ultimately enable us to provide better services throughout our county. Now, as we work to build the downtowns of Prince George's in a diverse economy, we will also have a laser-like focus on making sure that we address the issues and concerns that our residents have had with finding healthy food options in our county. I don't know about you, but this is an issue that I am so very passionate about. What we know is Prince George's County has 6 major food deserts. We also know that 55% of all of the eating establishments in Prince George's County are fast food. We find this to be completely unacceptable, and we know that we can do much better. So we're anticipating that even as we'll be working, I want to thank David Iannucci, who is here from the Economic Development Corporation, and his team, who are working hard to make sure that we close the gaps where these food deserts are concerned. One such example is that you are aware that there are 11 Shoppers grocery stores, and that we anticipate that they will be closing early next year. But you should know that David and his team are working really hard to make sure that we're able to backfill all of those grocery stores with healthy grocers. We've been talking to folks, and we're really looking forward to making sure that we don't leave any neighborhood behind without a healthy grocery store. We're also looking to attract other grocers to areas that have gone for too long without healthy food, and we're doing so by putting together relief packages, economic and financial relief packages to make these areas attractive and to assist grocers in identifying county tax credits to ensure their growth and long-term sustainability in our communities. Now, as we work to grow our economy, I want you to know that we are also focusing on supporting small and minority-owned businesses in our county. This is a priority for us. We're currently working to empower them, to empower and expand local business capacity. We're doing this by very creative things that will allow our businesses to compete for county business. Again, I want to thank Jonathan and his team for what they've done to really get out ahead of this issue, to make sure that many of our small and local businesses can forecast some of the opportunities that will be coming to Prince George's over the next 12 months or so, that they will know what goods and services we need as a county, and that they will have an opportunity to bid for that work and to prepare their bids. And so we're working hard to make sure that we expand the opportunity for more people to sit at the table and do business in Prince George's. This means that we're also working on a plan to ensure that 50% of all of the contracts that we award for commercial off-the-shelf goods or services are awarded to county-based businesses as the primary contractor. This is very big, 50%. We believe that this is a mutual benefit for us because it not only keeps the money within our community, but it also means that the government can get the goods and services that we need more quickly because we'll be buying local. We're also next focusing on safe neighborhoods. And it is my great belief that in order for us to really, one of the things that really contributes to being able to attract businesses to Prince George's County, and we've really had great success in developing interest, and we're seeing an increased interest in businesses, it is because Prince George's County is a safe place to be. This is not a small point. It is a major point that people are looking more often to live here and to do business here because they understand that Prince George's County is a safe place to be. Overall, our crime rate is the lowest we have seen in more than 50 years, and it continues to drop. We've also seen a reduction in quality of life crimes. I heard from so many of you that you are not only concerned about violence, but you're concerned also about your quality of life. And what does this mean for you? It means stolen vehicles, home invasions, carjackings, and those other things. And so we want you to know that we have really placed a laser-like focus on that, and that we're seeing all of those numbers drop. And we're continuing to work in that regard. And so I want to thank the Prince George's County Police Department and Chief Stawinski for the work that they have done. They have done an amazing job in decreasing crime. And again, let me just put a punctuation mark here. The numbers speak for themselves. A 50% decrease in violent crime over 8 years does not just happen. It happens as a result of excellent policing, and it happens because this is the most engaged community anywhere. Prince Georgians have caused these numbers to decline because they have been so engaged in the work that we have done here. So I want to thank you as well for coming together as a community and deciding that Prince George's County is not a great place to commit crime, that we are a community that come together to ensure that it is laid for all of us to live. Now, while our homicide, now also, I want you to know that we have focused on ensuring that illegal guns will be taken off of our streets. Going forward, our officers will deploy daily with the Criminal Apprehension Suppression Team program. And what this means is that we are now focusing laser-like on removing guns from our streets. We understand that that is a major issue, not only for Prince George's County, but for communities across the country. And so we have a whole program designed to really target, based on crime data, targeted areas to ensure that we're decreasing violence by removing illegal guns from our communities. We're also focusing on returning citizens because we know that 95% of those who are incarcerated will return to our communities. And so we want to make sure that when they come back home to us, that we have equipped them with the necessary tools that they will need to be productive citizens. This means that our Department of Corrections, and I want to thank Mary Lou McDonough, who is here tonight, our Director of Corrections, who is doing an outstanding job, has put together a medication assisted treatment program to assist. Yeah, that's right, we can give her a round of applause. But the Department of Corrections has the medication assisted treatment program to assist those who are addicted to opioids when incarcerated, to make sure that we get them off of those drugs and that we keep them connected to resources upon their release. And so we want to make sure that our returning citizens can do so safely and effectively, and we put that in place. We've also partnered with the new Opioid Addiction Treatment Center in College Park, and we have the Bridge Center at Adams House that is a one-stop shop to receive services through the Health Department, Social Services, and Family Services. The Department of Corrections has also put together a number of programs to ensure that those who are incarcerated are able to develop the reentry skills that they need, from job applications, training, making sure that they're also trained in the trades. And so we're working hard through programs. One innovative program we have allows inmates to work actually in the kitchen at the jail. And they now have the ability to earn a certificate for their work experience and to assist them in getting a job in the food service industry upon release. And so we're putting together really creative programming to ensure that those who are released are able to have the skills that they need to continue to work. Healthy communities. We want to make sure that all of our citizens are able to live in healthy communities. And let me tell you a bit about what that means for us. We have a very precious group of people who live in our county. They just happen to be our veterans. And Prince George's County is able to boast that we are the home to more than 60,000 veterans in Prince George's County. That is the largest concentration of veterans in the state, and they call Prince George's County home. And because they are here, thank you, and because we regard them as a very precious asset, I opened the first ever Office of Veterans Affairs, and this makes us the first county in the state of Maryland to have in a county an Office of Veterans Affairs. We have, thank you, appointed to lead that particular office, Dr. James Dula, who is the Veterans Affairs Officer. And if anybody knows Dr. Dula, you know he is doing a really amazing job. A veteran himself, he's just really hit the ground running. And because of his work, we have had already more than 2,000 veterans who have come to that office in the last 9 months seeking resources, from VA claims assistance to quality of life assistance, like housing and employment and rental assistance. And we anticipate that by the end of the year, we will have served over 3,000 veterans already as a result of that new resource, and we're really proud of that. Like our veterans, another really treasured group of citizens we have are our seniors. I love, love, love the seniors of Prince George's County. And we are serving our seniors by making sure that they comprise, believe it or not, over 171,000 of our residents are over 60 years of age. That's nearly 20% of our total population, and I can tell you that their well-being is a top priority of this administration. How are we serving them? What I heard from our seniors is that they have a number of concerns. Housing is a concern for our seniors, and so we're going to utilize the Housing Investment Trust Fund to provide gap financing for developing and preserving senior housing, as well as workforce and mixed income housing. We're also continuing to invest in our public transportation services because I want you to know that the seniors have said to me, we are very active, we line dance, we have all kinds of activities happening during the week, and we need transportation in the county to make it to our activities and to continue our lives. And so we have focused as well on making sure that we have retrofitted vehicles, we've actually purchased additional buses, and making sure that we have the resources our seniors need to be able to be transported around the county. We've also made investments in the Call a Bus program, which delivers nutritious meals to our homebound neighbors. And in addition to that, Park and Planning continues to provide senior targeted services at their community centers. And in our incoming legislative session, continuing the work that we have done over the last several years, we are also introducing statewide legislation to establish an elder abuse registry. And what does this mean? This means that our seniors who have laid the groundwork for us to be here need to be safe. And Maryland is one of the only states in the country that does not have an elder abuse registry. So this means that you can abuse a senior at a home, be fired from there, and go get a job someplace else. We want to make sure that this never happens again. That if you go on record as a person who has abused a senior in any way, we should know about you. We want you on this elder abuse registry so that we can keep safe our seniors who are vulnerable and many of whom cannot care for themselves. A healthy community also means clean communities, which is why I launched the county's beautification initiative this past spring. And let me tell you, I heard from many of our residents who said, we care about education. We understand that education is a priority, but we want to know also where our tax dollars are going. And Prince Georgians pay the second highest tax rate in the state. And you have said to us, we want to see the evidence of the taxes that we pay to live in this county. And we believe that beautification is one such area that we are able to demonstrate visually the way that your tax dollars are being used. And so I want to thank Joe Gill. I want to thank Terry Bellamy, also at the Department of Public Works and Transportation, for the yeoman's job that they have done in helping us in our cleanup efforts. So each year, our county spends $3 billion on cleanup efforts. Those dollars, in our opinion, can be spent in other areas if only we did our part to ensure that our county remained clean. We're getting out there. We've had a good number of litter programs and litter collections. These areas along the road, you can see the medians where people have put their signs out there. You've seen these signs. They say, I buy and sell houses. If you want to be tutored, if you want your house power washed, if you want any number of other things, and they advertise those in those medians. Well, those signs are pollution, and they really do make our county unsightly. And so we have collected, I know Terry, we collected how many of those signs? 5,000? She collected 5,000. She drives around in his cruiser, and when he sees those signs, he pulls over and pulls them up himself. We have collected well over 5,000, I believe, in the last couple of months. In those median strips. And so we're really serious about making sure that we keep our county clean. We've also launched a marketing campaign. We're even going to some of our younger residents in the schools to teach them about the importance of recycling and keeping our streets litter-free. And so we've done 2 countywide community cleanups. I participated in one, I think it's about 2 weeks ago. And we had several also making all of these campaigns around illegal dumping and other things. And so we'll continue to work to make sure that we're keeping our county beautiful. There's another environmental issue that we really are seeing more and more of. I know that our colleagues on the council are hearing about that, and that is the increased flooding due to climate change, which is impacting many of our residents, in particular in the southern part of the county. So we've seen larger rain events, as you have seen as well in recent years, and these rain events have led to flooded homes and streets. And that has happened in particular in Fort Washington, Temple Hills, Clinton, and the Akakeek areas. And so we will build new infrastructure to improve stormwater conveyance in those residential areas. And we're in the planning process now, and I'll keep all of you updated on what we're doing. We just want you to know that we're taking a look at how we issue building permits to make sure that developers aren't increasing the risk of flooding in these areas. And so this is an area that we're really seeing a lot of attention being placed and a lot of concern, and we're working on it. I'm going to come just to a couple of other areas, and I have some folks who are behind me who I know are also going to talk to you tonight about quality of life and high performance government. At the end of the day, if you've heard little else I have said tonight, I want you to know that I believe that it is so important that we deliver to you as a government what you deserve. That excellence, that a nimble government that is responsive to your needs, a government that comes out to you and tells you what we are doing on your behalf and shows up to hear your concerns. This is not just about me providing information to you, which I believe is really important for me to be able to share with you the things that we're doing. Well, we're here because we also need to hear from you. We need to make sure that we know what your concerns are and know the things that you expect from us as well. And so the last part of what I will share to you with you, and I want to thank Venetia Davis for this, is that when we took office in December of 2018, our 311 call center's call abandon rate was at 20%. That meant that 20% of our residents were unable to successfully report pertinent government service concerns to county government agencies. It also meant, and I heard this from one of my most challenging constituents, who is my father. He told me that he could not access 311 to his satisfaction. He wanted something done about it. He threatened that if I didn't, he and my mother were going to pack up and move out of the county. We told him this certainly could not happen, that he was going to give us an opportunity to fix it. But what we know is that in December of 2018, because we tested it, when a resident called 311, it took on average 3 minutes and 18 seconds for them to speak with the call center representative. We agreed that this was too long. So today, because of the outstanding work of our Office of Community Relations, and this is a super bad team, they have now decreased this call center's average response time down to 6 to 7 seconds. I want you to know that it takes 6 to 7 seconds. And you should know that in December of 2018, the call center only had one Spanish-speaking call operator to take calls from our non-English-speaking residents. And since then, we have hired 3 additional Spanish-speaking call center operators because we want to make sure we can communicate with every part of our community. Now, when I leave and sit down here, I want you to know that you're going to be able to hear a bit more. We have our directors from the Department of Permitting and Inspections, the Department of Environment, the Department of Public Works and Transportation, and they will be able to tell you a bit more about the things that they are working on and what you need to hear about as residents. So again, in closing, I thank you for coming out tonight. I can tell you, first of all, I want to say thank you for the true honor of having represented you as your county executive. I have loved every minute of this job. I really have. It is such an honor to represent you. I'll be happy to speak with you when this is done. But I want you to know that it really has been an honor to represent you, that we wake up every day. I do not do so alone. So again, there is no way for me to really adequately thank the men and women who have joined me in this work every day. I thank each of you. You're our partners as well. There is no place like Prince George's. I often say that we are the crown jewel of Maryland, and that is no exaggeration. There is no place quite like Prince George's County. We are so proud of everything that we have accomplished here, but we truly believe that the best is yet to come. And so I thank you for being here tonight to hear about our priorities. We'll continue to update you over time as to our progress, but we thank you again, and I will turn this back over to David Sloan, who, by the way, can you help me? David Sloan and Molly and Linda have done a yeoman's job in putting together tonight's presentation. I don't think David has slept a wink. David eats, sleeps, drinks, and thinks all the time about this work, and I just want to thank you, David, for your commitment, Molly and Linda as well. Thank you so very much.